Hi friends and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hello. My name's George Agenbar and I'm a UK music producer. Today's video is all about the common problem areas we find when recording acoustic guitar and how to fix them with EQ. So if this is something you want to learn a bit more about, then make sure you stay tuned and hit the subscribe button and notification bell for new videos every Wednesday. And things will never be the same when I hear your name since you kissed me in the rain. EQing and mixing acoustic guitar can be hard, and sometimes just identifying the problem frequency or characteristic within your recording is really tricky. So today we're going to have a look at 5 common problematic frequencies or characteristics. We'll look at how to solve them using simple EQ, and then we'll listen to an example of them. These 5 characteristics are rumble, boominess, string noise, presence, and dullness. And now I must say before we get into the video, obviously the frequency ranges given are a guideline. It's going to vary depending on the type of guitar you're playing, how you record it, whether you use a mic or a DI, the type of microphone you use, your environment, and so on. Sometimes when mixing acoustic guitars, you'll hear in the track that there's this low rumble, or sometimes some really low hits. And this is normally between the 20 to 100 Hz range. Now this can really ruin mixes because it can muddy up the bass end, or actually it can get confused with kick drums and just sound generally unpleasant. Now this is normally more common with guitars that you've recorded using a microphone than DI'd straight into your DAW. So let's have a look at how we can solve this. So in this example, I'm going to tap my foot on the floor as I record the acoustic guitar, and we will see if that produces the low rumble I was talking about. So as you can see from the graphs, there is a lot more rumble in that very low bass end. So what I'm going to do is put a low cut on the track, and let's have a listen to how that sounds, and then we'll compare the graphs after. So as you can see, the bass in the EQ track has been taken almost completely out. And maybe this was a bit too extreme, but for the purposes of this video, I wanted you to be able to really hear the difference. A common problem you find when mixing acoustic guitars is that they sound boomy, and this tends to happen around the 100 to 300 Hz range. And this can mainly be due to the mic placement you use. Sometimes you place it too close to the actual guitar and you get the proximity effect with the microphone, or sometimes it's just placed too close to the guitar's bridge and we get this boomy sound. For this recording, I'm going to place the microphone very close to the bridge of my guitar, and we'll see if we can create some boominess. So as you can see from the graph, there definitely are peaks around the 100 to 200 Hz range, so that's where I'm going to focus my EQ. On the track, I've made a cut at 120 Hz and 185 Hz. Now I could have done this all with one EQ point, however I decided to use 2 so that I didn't take all of the bass and all of the body out of the guitar sound. And as you can hear, this is a lot less boomy, and looking at the charts, we've taken those peaks right down and made the whole track a bit more level. This This next one is every guitar player's worst enemy, and that's string noise. Now, string noise normally happens around 700 Hz and above, but this is probably the most variable characteristic. You may have to hunt around a bit. And when reducing string noise, I like to use a dynamic EQ. And this is because the string noise isn't always present in the mix. It's only there when you change chord or move up and down the strings. And so if I get rid of the string noise frequency using a normal EQ, that frequency is always taken out of my acoustic guitar sound. But if I use a dynamic EQ, it will only take that frequency out when the string noise occurs, if I set it up right. I'm going to play and try my best to exaggerate the string noises in the recording, so let's give it a go. With the string noise, you can see that there are various peaks starting from about 1 kHz upwards, and so this is going to be a much harder problem to tackle. On my track, I've put a dynamic EQ at 1.2 kHz and 6 kHz. I've also taken a constant notch out at 9.9 kHz, just as I found that taking this out constantly in the track didn't really affect it too much, but it did help a lot with taking out the string noise. So as you could hear, it didn't completely solve the problem. There was still string noise there. It's actually really difficult to completely get rid of string noise in a track. However, it was a lot less obvious. And as you can see in the graph, the top end is a lot more even. Presence is the thing that brings the guitar to the front of the mix. It makes it sound present, like the main attraction. And normally the presence in a guitar lies between 1 and 3 kHz. Now this is also where vocals tend to lie, and so you may choose to cut this frequency range in the acoustic guitar if you're looking to prioritise the vocal line. Right now I'm going to quickly record a vocal line to go with the guitar track so we can hear how the guitar and vocals sit in the same space and how they sit better when you reduce the guitar's presence. So with the presence, there isn't really EQ charts that we can use, so we're just going to have to listen for this example. As you can hear, with that simple EQ curve, the guitar was pushed way back in the mix and the vocals were made more prominent. They weren't competing with each other anymore. So the fifth and final problematic characteristic or frequency in an acoustic guitar is dullness. Now this is a bit different to the others as we're going to solve this by doing a frequency boost. We can add a bit more air and sparkle to our acoustic guitar by boosting between 3.5 all the way up to 12 kHz. We just have to be really careful not to overdo it as it can make the guitar sound tinny or too piercing, which we don't want. Again, with sounding less dull and more airy, you can't really show it on an EQ graph, so we're just going to have to listen to these examples. And as you can hopefully hear, that did sound a lot lighter and brighter. Again, this probably was overly exaggerated, but for the purposes of this video, I think that's a good thing to be able to hear the difference. So that's how to find problematic frequencies and EQ in an acoustic guitar. As I've said, every guitar is different, and the ranges stated are just a guideline, so you may have to hunt around a bit. However, all these problems should be around roughly the area stated. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it useful and interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments below and if there are any other videos you'd like to see in the future. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell, and I will see you again soon.